state. It's the Mothman Statue trip recap with chaddukes. And Ted dumped his girl on the phone from 6,000 miles away. Now you claim to know cryptids, folks, but give Big Shooter his due. A Sasquatch for me, well, he worked for free. I know about aliens too. The cashier said that ain't nothing, and you look real overweight. The Mothman is real, and you will feel his presence in this very state. It's the Mothman Statue trip recap with chaddukes and Ted had dumped his girl on the phone from 6,000 miles away.
Oh, that ain't the right one. Come on. Oh, yeah. Come on. Let's get it. Hit the like button. You gotta let it build, friendos. You gotta let it build. Welcome in. Welcome in. Are we sounding okay? Are we looking okay? It is the Mothman Statue Recap Show with your host, Chaddukes. Thank you so much for joining us today on the program. What is this? Already a super chat? We do accept super chats on this particular station. I know a lot of places don't. A lot of YouTube stations frown on that sort of thing, but not this one. Oh, no, we take super chat.
Hey, thanks for the super chat. Consider sending another.
That's how we keep this whole thing going. I wish it wasn't the case, but as long as they have super chats, we will accept super chats. Thank you, Danny Diaz. Nash Dukes versus Mothman Steel Cage match. I don't even know if Nash Dukes could take on the spectral locomotive. It is the Mothman of Point Pleasant. Thank you so much for being here. 12 Trogs, $4.99. Thank you so much for the super chat, my friend. We're getting them in early. Hey, you guys. Hey, you guys. $4.99. Appreciate that. Been drinking Pacificos since early tip-off. Think the Mothman would want one maybe for one of them tasty looking chips. Those chips are spicy and hot, according to the intro to this fine program. I have no idea. I can't speak for the Mothman, although I may have run into him just scant hours ago. Welcome, friendos. Thank you for joining us on YouTube. Please hit the like button. You know any normies that might be into stupid shit like this? Let them know. Do I got to have you holler my name? Thank you, 12 Trogs. Jorge Gonzalez says, sounds good. I would tell you if it didn't. You son of a bitch. Oh, we got a big week. Big week. You mentioned Mothman chips, did you? Are you talking about those? Are you talking about the Mothman chips that are made in West Virginia and only available in West Virginia? Because I came back with a grip of them. What is that, King Bee? Killer Bee? What's the name of that brand? Does anybody know? I believe I have it right here. Ah, Mr. B. Get it? Let's read this little tweeter to start us off. This is from @chaddukes on X. You need to ask yourself only one question this evening. Did Shu drive all the way to Point Pleasant, West Virginia to buy all the Mothman chips the Point Pleasant Piggly Wiggly had? And I think most of you, if you saw this tweet, voted in the affirmative. It's not the only reason I went, but I certainly went there for that as well. We will get to it. We're going to get to it all. This is me, actually. There it is. There's me in front of the Piggly Wiggly. I creeped that dude. You see that nice Ford F-150 behind me? I tried to compliment that guy on his truck, and he was not having it. Maybe the only not completely pleasant person that I encountered on my trip to West Virginia. It was great, man. It was absolutely fantastic. I had a fantastic time. All right. We'll go through it. I mean, it's just too much. I don't have forever tonight. I promised to take the lady out for some grub. I have been out of town for the last 48 hours, but I'm so fired up and ginned up. I had to get on here and share with you guys the experience it was driving to Point Pleasant and back in 32 hours, 36 hours. It was whoa, shit. Hold on. Before we get to anything else, we got to say thank you to Jeff Nelms. I only know one person as generous as Jeff Nelm.
Bruh.
That's the only guy I know that even comes close. Jesus Christ. Let's kill this hot chick for this. Be gone. Really looking forward to this episode. Been driving across that bridge for the last 28 years, and I've never stopped to check it out. Wife from Michigan, so we go a couple of times a year and still had never stopped. $49.99. Thank you so much, Jeff. That is incredibly generous of you, my friend. That will probably be the biggest super chat we have tonight, I would imagine. Yeah, that bridge is nuts. So there's so many bridges in West Virginia. I barely even know where to start. First of all, if you've never driven in West Virginia, it's a horse of a different color, friendos. I have never been as intimidated as I was driving in West Virginia. Not because anybody was being an asshole or the 18-wheelers were fucking around, or the gorges. I've never driven over and through and around. I scarcely know where to begin. All right, let's start at the beginning. Thank you, Jeff, so much for that super chat. It's absolutely ridiculous. I didn't realize this thing was skipping. Is that discombobulating to all of you? I feel like it is. All right, let's just turn that off. Let's turn that off until I can figure that out. Hey, there we go. That's something fun. I've always wanted to go see this statue, the Mothman statue. I assume most of you have seen the Mothman prophecies. I assume you're at least aware of the creature, but legend goes the Mothman shows up before something terrible is about to happen. Lots and lots of people saw this Mothman before the Silver Bridge collapsed in the 60s and hurt a bunch of people, killed a bunch of people. I think they movied the shit out of it. There was no chemical plant that was going to blow up. There's people dying, getting tied to trees and shit in the film. They Richard Gere the shit out of that bad boy. It's a good movie, though. It's a spooky movie. If you like scary movies, I would highly suggest you watch the Mothman Prophecies. But I've read a little bit more into the creature. I've talked about it on the Chaddukes show. If you look currently, there are lots and lots of sightings of it near O'Hare Airport in Chicago. But in Point Pleasant, descended upon these people. And this, of course, when it was not in vogue to talk about this shit. And also it's kind of, I would say a rural town. So I don't know that people were treated seriously, but the bridge definitely collapsed. And after the movie came out, I think they built the statue a year later. So ever since I saw the film, and I believe I saw it in the theater, I've wanted to go see the statue, the Mothman statue in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. This is it. That is the statue. That is a picture that I took. There are many like it on the internet, but that one is mine. And as you can see, it's not in a bustling metropolis. There were not hordes of people. Granted, I did go on a weekday, but it was a gorgeous fucking weekday. I mean, the weather was just unbelievable. Part of the experience, and I don't want to get ahead of myself. I should have done a better job of putting my thoughts together. But part of the experience that was so goddamn wacky is the weather was pristine and there was nobody around. If you go look at my Instagram, and maybe I'll try to pull it up here. I did a video as I was walking around after I arrived at Point Pleasant. And the thing that I was told by many people, which actually was bad intel, if you decide you want to go see this thing, I would stay in Point Pleasant. I saw a hotel. It didn't look great, but everybody told me that you don't want to stay in Point Pleasant. There's nothing there. It's sketchy, blah, blah, blah. I think some people said scary. It wasn't scary. I wish I would have stayed there. I stayed 45 miles outside of town. Well, 35 miles outside of town in a little burg called Hurricane. It was definitely called Hurricane. And it took me a while to get back and forth to, yeah, here is my my video that I took. Just to give you a little perspective of, oh, that's the gas station video. Yeah, this is another video. Boy, do I look thin. Jesus Christ, is it time for the low carbs? You really don't even know until you take a look, and it's in a book and it's reading Rainbow. Where is this? Oh, this one. Here it is. Oh, wow. Look at that. It's a young Ryan Reynolds. Jesus. Why don't you shoot up your nose some more, you fat turd? Look at that roll of fucking hot dogs on the back of my neck. Oh, just unbelievable. All right, try not to look at my body, face, chins, and beard. This was like the most gorgeous day of all time. And I'm walking around. They had this park down in Point Pleasant that's right past where the marker is for where the Silver Bridge collapsed. It was called the River Park. And it was just absolutely stunning. And there was probably, I probably saw 6 people total the entire time I was down there. They had these statues. These were statues. There's a lot of Native American history down there. So they had statues of settlers, statues of Native Americans, and it's all up and down this giant mural that is facing the Ohio River, I assume. Or I don't, great tragedy on the river Ohio. I should have fucking looked at what the name of the goddamn river was, and I didn't. If someone wants to help me out in the chat, I would appreciate it. I feel like an ignoramus for not having prepped that. But everybody's like, there's a path there. So there's a couple of people walking their dogs. But when I tell you it was devoid of humanity, and it was this real whole gorgeous scene. Like, I don't know if it's coming across that way in this video, but it was just a spectacular day. And the duality of going there and seeing this abandoned place with this incredibly gorgeous weather. And also it's very impressive. Like, the riverfront is very impressive. Like, you don't see any of the dilapidated buildings because Point Pleasant, there's stuff to do. And there's shops, and there is a Mothman museum, and there's a community down there. But it is difficult to not notice how much is out of business and how financially they seem to have fallen on hard times. Except this waterfront area was spectacular. Like, if this was in Old Town Alexandria, it would be impressive. There's a shot of, they had a little amphitheater there where I think they do performances. There's nobody there. And it was a spectacular presentation of earth, wind, and sunshine and water. Which in itself was somewhat creepy because I'm there to see the Mothman. And while it's fun, like Bigfoot's fun, aliens are fun, the Mothman's fun, the wood booger, go down the list of all the things, the Jabberwocky, all the things that we think could potentially, the Chupacabra, exist out there. The world is more fun with this shit in it. But being there when you have this abandoned, vacuum around this area, and then also it's a gorgeous day. It was unsettling at times. I had a great time, but it was rather unsettling. The Cowan, well, that's the name of the town across the river in Ohio too, Paul. So I don't know if that's the same town, but I'm sure it is. I feel fucking ignorant as hell for not knowing that. Chaddukes is Richard Gere. Yeah, a lot of people confuse us. I'm sure you're basing it off of this footage here. I mean, really, honestly, this could be, Pretty Woman. I mean, go down the list. The gentleman and I have a lot in common, including what appears to be zero neck whatsoever. I used to have a neck. I really did. I don't know what happened to it. It feels like I have a neck here, but watching this video, I mean, the proof is in the pudding. So as I'm walking up the street here, that is the Mothman Museum, which of course closed at 5 o'clock. Closed at 5 o'clock. I drove 6 hours to get to the motherfucker, but because I stopped and checked into my hotel room first, it was closed. So I did not get to go to the Mothman Museum, but as you can see, the statue is right next to it. Yeah, there's a giant poster on the side. There's a fucking let's see if you can see this. There's a man. Do you guys see that? There's a man going around taking names. There is a mannequin in the window of the Mothman Museum wearing what appears to be a Dick Tracy getup, raincoat, fedora, and it's looking down on the Mothman. And so there was nobody to fuck around. And I just started looking around to see if anybody was, and you can't really see it. You can kind of make it out there. I looked up there in that warehouse, and it scared the shit out of me. Like startled the ever-loving hell out of me, which I assume is their goal. Especially since it wasn't twilight yet, but the sun was setting. So that was just a wacky fucking move. Whoever decided, let's scare the piss out of the normies and put a statue up in this window. But here he is. And it's pretty large. And before my time was done there, I did see there was one mother and a daughter that came up. There's a nice marker on there that kind of describes the couple. They don't really get into the bridge collapse, I think, because this is for tourism. So they don't really talk about why the Mothman was appearing. But yeah, there it is, and it's facing the river, and you can't even really see it from the main road. I parked over here. And then it has this fantastic mural in the back here. I have a picture that I want to show you, but this is the museum, the back of it. And painted on the back of the museum is this amalgamation of the mythical side of what you visit Point Pleasant for. And then also they're kind of talking about their history and how much, commonality, is that a word, took place there between the settlers and the Native Americans. That is a porno shop, porno DVD right behind it. But there's the mural, which was, I thought, very impressive, where it kind of combines both. I think I have a picture of that. Let me go ahead and pull that up for you because I don't think it'll do it justice there. The problem is I might be standing with my big fat face in front of the picture, which is generally what I like to do when I go on trips like this. Is I like to take pictures and then I put my big stupid fat face in front of them. And that way you can't see the shit that I'm taking the picture of. All right, I didn't pull that one. This is off to a roaring start. But here's some of the shots from, let me get rid of me. This is from the waterfront. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think this concrete separator here, there were two poles in front of it. I think that might have been the location of the original Silver Bridge. There was no other area of the park that had this type of setup. And that was looking downriver. There was also, this was looking back up towards the sun. This was spectacular. There were several coal barges coming down from this bridge, floating down the water. At one point during that video that I have up on my Instagram, you could see one of them going by, and it's chugging out quite a bit of black smoke, which I'm sure is just fantastic for the environment. But it still was cool because of, coal and West Virginia and where we were, and coal miners' daughters. So yeah, I didn't know about any of that. I didn't know the setup would be that impressive, but it was. It certainly was an interesting experience, especially, like I said, alone. Let's breakfast table and otherwise. Thank you, DC Sports Mark, for the $1.99 super chat. We do accept super chats over here. That's me with my big fat face in front of the Mothman. To scale, I don't think his torso is as big as my fat chin. Of course, I showed you that one. Another part that was really interesting was I found this marker that was placed in honor. And I don't know if those rocks on top of it had any significance. There was gravel all around, so I just assume it was from there. But I don't know if there was any symbolism with that. But Silver Bridge collapse and creation of the National Bridge Inspection Standards, Point Pleasant, Virginia. When that bridge collapsed, and there's another marker directly across from this one that explains why the bridge collapsed. which kind of hit home for me because I recently fell off a fucking deck, as you guys know. So gaffes and engineering are personally hitting a little bit closer to home for me currently. So that was wild to see. It's like, okay, now we need to start checking these bridges now that this one has fallen in December and people have drowned in the icy depths of this West Virginian river. But this marker, I guess, was put there to commemorate that. And you can see behind it, again, I like to put my stupid big fat face in front of everything, but there's this really nice mural behind it of the bridge before it collapsed. That's the Silver Bridge unfettered, with what looks to be a car of the era, the 1960s, passing over it. And that's the wall that separates. I don't know necessarily why they have a wall up separating that beautiful view of the river from the town. The only thing I can think of is that the town is such an eyesore from the back that the people on the other side in Ohio don't want to look at it. That's really the only thing that I could come up with that made any sense, but it's cool. There's like little nooks and crannies and murals and pictures, and there's shit hanging in windows all over the town. I went walking around to find stuff in Point Pleasant because I got to be honest with you, there's not a lot of stuff to find, but there are some things. There is let me see if I can pull it up here. Oh, wow, a big super chat. Jesus Christ. Andy and Petra shown at $49.99. Thank you so much. West Virginia has a lot to offer. The ATV parks and the wilderness areas are awesome. I'm going to get to it, man. I can't be here all night. Like, I want to spend at least an hour with you guys. But I got to say, man, West Virginia was... There's a reason why people think of it the way that they do. I mean, it looked like West Virginia. The people looked like West Virginia. Like, if you watch the Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia as many times as I have, there was several people I bumped into that looked like that. But I didn't meet an asshole. I didn't find one person that was a dickhead, which is pretty goddamn difficult to do anywhere in this fantastic country of ours. Andy, thank you so much for your continuing generosity, buddy. Congratulations on being on the back cover of Making Toilet 2 Pacifico Pals edition.
Hey, Skater Sean here of the Heavy Riders. Thank you for sending this donation into the Chaddukes show. The real question I have is, why didn't you send those funds over to the Heavy Riders?
It's not a very good question, Sean, and you'd be even more perplexed and vexed to know that not only did he send a beautiful super chat, but I have a beautiful Venmo here from Andy Schonert as well. Andy, thank you so much, bud. That is beyond generous.
Hey there, boy. Big Jim Crabdick here, local library owner. Thank you so very much for the super chat. Feel free to send another one. And now I'm going to go do a line off of Boot Pal's ass.
See, that I'm not going to pay for that cocaine that he's referring to, Andy, but if I wanted to, I could get him a bullet of coke. So whenever there was an Orioles Brothers legend afoot, Jimmy could go do some sniz off of one of those butt cheeks. But my goodness gracious. Thank you, buddy. You're spoiling me. You're spoiling your pal. My guess is a flood wall. They have a lot of those in the Ohio River. Could be. It's the most decorative flood wall I've ever seen, and it doesn't extend the entire way down the bank, which was somewhat curious, but you might be right. I mean, I how the fuck would I know? Why didn't I do any research? I've only been in the car for the last 12 hours. Andy, thank you so much, bud. You're one of one. Gentleman shows as much support of this show as is humanly possible. There is a very tight-knit cabal that shows that level of support. I greatly appreciate it. All right, let me show you this. I almost put in a phone call. I didn't because it's ridiculous. And I will also say it is not convenient to drive to Point Pleasant. I like driving through the mountains, through the prairies, through the oceans, white with foam. But it's difficult to get to. It's difficult to transgress, what is the word I'm looking for? Meditate, not transsexual. Transpose. What is it? Traverse. Christ. I haven't had a sip of alcohol all week. It's difficult to traverse the mountains. It really is. So it's not easy to get there. So when I saw this, oh, that's a smiling, sexy man. They updated StreamYard now, and you have to remove the picture that you had up before you can put the new picture up. I hate that bit. I saw this, and you say, Dukes, what is that? Well, that's a movie theater. It's a movie theater right on that main thoroughfare in Point Pleasant. This is about 2 blocks up from the Mothman Museum. This is, holy shit. Welcome to Point. I don't even know how long. I don't know the marquee. I don't know how long it's been since they've updated the marquee, but it looks like at least relatively recently. It's been through winter and it still says welcome to Point. It doesn't look like it's missing any letters. That's the State Theater. Now, I can't tell you how few people were downtown in Point Pleasant. Before the story ends, I traveled further up the road to go to a place to eat that I wanted to, but I did have the idea that buying this movie theater, Kevin Smith style, the real Kevin Smith, not our Kevin Smith, and gutting it and turning it into like a classy affair in Point Pleasant, where you can do horror movie screenings and all this crazy shit. On paper, that sounds like a really good idea. I don't think the population around it could support it. I really don't. Now, they do a Mothman festival every September. So if you could keep it alive, you know, the other times, like I think there's like 15, 16,000 people that show up there for this Mothman festival. I mean, you could just show the movie over and over again and bank tens of thousands of dollars, I would assume. I just don't know if the surrounding community would be able to support it. But I had the idea, and I almost, like, I was looking in the windows to see if there was a phone number on call if you'd like to purchase, or run a quick Google search. But I just don't know, even if you had the liquid cash to just gut this place and turn it into something fun. I don't know how you would sustain it, but I certainly had the desire after being there. Certainly felt like something I would like to try. What in the fuck? What is going on with you guys tonight? Holy shit. God bless, Jay. $100 super chat. I don't think I have enough videos to play for what you guys are doing tonight. I have to give you another knee. Hey, you guys. I'm not under the Solid Dudes moniker. I got the fucking, well, hold on. Let's see if maybe I'll come back. Maybe I'll come back. I mean, that's $100.
I just, you know, everybody's hell.
I gotta say, you and Andy Schoner.
You dumb bastard.
I mean, what are you guys up to? What are you guys doing? Thank you, Jay. I love the movie too, and I love you in that way. $100 super chat. I'm gonna go ahead and roll around on the floor. I'm gonna spread some Crisco out. See, I got a special slip and slide that I like to grease up real good after I do a stream, and I just slide all the way up the stairs, and of course nude. And while I do that, Jay, I'm going to be thinking of you. Thank you so much, buddy. This is far too generous. You're making me uncomfortable with how generous you are. Very, very generous. And if the rest of you want to be as generous as Jay Withycombe, I doubt you can. How about you come on out Saturday? Huh? 7-year anniversary, Commonwealth Dry Goods. Would love to see you. Be open from 12 to 5. I'll be working there all day. Not only do we have our anniversary butter toffee and gourmet salted peanuts, not only do we have our anniversary 7-year candles available in red, white, and black, not only do we have the S'mores Bark Anniversary Edition Commonwealth Dry Goods S'mores Bark, not only do we have the Pacifico Pals official t-shirts. Those are a lot of people calling about those. The debut of Big Tuna Energy. Yes, indeed. And of course, Making Toilet 2 Electric Boogaloo, available on dual CD. And this will decide whether or not there is a Making Toilet 3. If we sell all these out, we'll know that you people aren't that disgusted with my fucking hijinks. And if we don't, well, then I'll suck it from the back. That is Saturday. Come on out. We'll be open from 12 to 5. And if you're going to be one of those people that asks, is the shit going up online? Just check online. Just refresh, and you never know. Something can happen. Anything can happen. You can't stop the shining. I'm looking at my watch, but my mind's really the diamond. Jay, thank you again. Andy, thank you again. My goodness gracious. All right. So while we're talking about Saturday, I want you to take a look at this. So these are the Mr. B Mothman Mysterious Spice Blend potato chips. They only sell them in West Virginia, and the only place I saw them was in Point Pleasant. I did not see them. I stopped at a couple of gas stations. I can confirm, by the way, they are building a motherfucking Buc-ee's right outside of Harrisonburg, Virginia. So a little over 2 hours away, we will have a Buc-ee's within striking distance. I think there's one going in somewhere around King George. I don't know. I don't think this is that one. I think that's down towards the coast. But I drove past it. They already have billboards up. The structure is up. Buc-ee's is a fucking blessing to our country. I want to do a whole episode on Buc-ee's. The amount of construction workers that this Buc-ee's had employed, had put into business, was paying for them to ply their trade. It was unbelievable. I thought the motherfucker was open for a second. There was no sign and no beaver, so I knew that it wasn't. But that's how many people were working to make this Buc-ee's something tangible for us to all enjoy. So I was excited to see that on the way home. But these are the Mothman. These are limited edition Mothman chips. I bought a bunch of them. As I said at the beginning of the show when we went out there, I bought all these Mothman chips, and we'll have them on sale at Commonwealth Dry Goods. But what I want to do is, Jesus Christ, I feel like I should just give them the J. I got these cheeseburgers, man. I got this prize pack here where I want to look at all this. What's the best way for me to do this? There we go. Ugh. I want to give this away because it also includes the Mothman pizza plastic cup. The plastic pizza cup. You guys know the one that we're all obsessed with. The one that everybody remembers when they would go to Pizza Hut. This is the cup you would drink out of. Spoiler alert, of course, when I'm going someplace like this, I go online and I figure out where is the best pizza joint. Where's the best one? And the highest rated pizza place in Point Pleasant was this little joint called Village Pizza. Pizza, as Oscar Santana would say. And so I decided that's where I was going for dinner. And as soon as I walked in, I saw that they were selling Mothman pizza plastic cups. I mean, how fucking great is that? I can't think of two things that have more synergy in my world than that. So I decided to put them together, and I assembled this prize pack that I'm going to give to the first person on Saturday that comes up to me and says the password. Do you guys know what the password is? Can anybody guess what the password is? How about this? If you can guess what the password is, the first person that can guess what the password is, I will send you one of these glasses for free. I bought 4 of them. I bought one as a gift, actually a couple of them as a gift. But I definitely want to keep one myself. But I'm willing to part. If somebody is intuitive enough to figure it out. Oh, God. Diego said foreskin. I gotta boot you right out of here. How dare you? This is a family program. We don't talk about foreskins, even if mine is intact. That's disgusting. Love those cups. I love them so much. Andy, send me your fucking address. I gotta send me your address, Andy Schoenert. You've been too generous. You were sending Venmos in on the Thursday episode this week. Is HMAC here? Also, HMAC, I owe you a fucking... HMAC wanted to sponsor Thursday's episode, but goddamn Andy Schoenert already sponsored Thursday's episode. All right, let's take a look at some of these guesses. Mothman. Ant-Man is the G word. Foreskin. Anthony is gay. Jesus, Jeff. Password is 1234. Of course, Craig thinks it's Bosco. Bosco. Anthony, Monk, Jenkins, Pizzo, Point Pleasant. You guys are way too on point. If nobody guesses it, I'm just going to fucking tell you. And then whoever says it to me at the shop is going to get that beautiful prize pack. I can't think of a more generous gift, to be honest with you. I'm really thoughtful. Most people think I am what they call an asshole. But yeah, I brought this all the way back today from the Piggly Wiggly and from Village Pizza in Point Pleasant. So I will give that to you. Broken Deck, Nipple. Jay, why would it be Nipple? You're lucky you're so goddamn. What in the fucking shit is what is going on? The high rollers are taking over tonight. The high rollers. God damn it. You're making me switch around. Stop being so goddamn generous. Bobby Double L, you handsome son of a bitch. Treat yourself to some froyo.
I'm gonna go get froyo. Who are you?
Broke a phalange. That's $100, right?
I just, you know, everybody's hell.
God damn. Raise hail indeed. All right, now I got to switch back. Bobby Double L, thank you so much. I mean, I just feel guilty because I feel like I should be giving all of you guys the prize packs for this level of generosity. Oodalali is a great password. John Klein. Not John Klein. It's not John Kime either. Ted dumped his girl on the phone. Tony, that would be a great password. Tony, you faking son of a bitch. When are you coming down to the studio? That's my guy, Tone. Hoots did him dirty. That's my fucking guy. That's my man. Tony was the reason why I had the VIP card at Hooters. And now Hooters. See what happens when you turn your back on Shoot and Tone? You see what happens. Dead to me. I want to see you hanging out, Tone. That's what I want. I can only think of one person that's more generous than Bobby Double L.
Bruh.
That might be my favorite drop. Oh my God, somebody got it. Get the fuck out of here. Somebody got it. Boom, bam. Look at that. Mark Z. Way to read the room. Way to understand the assignment. Mark Z gets the show. Mark, do me a favor. Which social media are you on? Shoot me your address. I am going to drop. I can't send the chips. That's ridiculous. But I will send you a cup. I will send. You didn't even send a super chat. That motherfucker Bobby Double just dropped $100. I got to send Mark Z. Well, he gets it, though. He gets it. He reads the room. Chapstick is correct, Mark Z. Thank you. Send me your address. Not in the chat. Send me your name and address, and I will drop a cup in the mail for you, my friend. Thank you so much for understanding the show. And Bobby, don't lie to me. I have no neck. We've confirmed this. I mean, what about this picture? Take a look at this picture. I mean, look at that. It's just all jowls. I'm so depressed. Look at this. Look at the amount of chin skin. I'm telling you, man, when I walk past windows and shit and I look in there, I'm like, yeah, you know, you could lose a few. But it's not this. It's not devastation. Oh, what are you gonna do? I mean, just what are you gonna? Well, I guess you could walk. I guess you could do some sit-ups. I mean, there are things you could do if I'm being perfectly honest. Thank you, Bobby. I might burn a piece of. Oh, I just got an message from Mr. E to the Rock. Could someone message E to the Rock and let him know that I'm doing a very important show tonight? I mean, he's disrupting me. I'm over here probably having the most important broadcast I ever have. I'm recapping my trip to Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Suck my dick. Suck my dick. All right, let me find this. You don't know the fucking passion that I have for this program when I have to sit there for 25 minutes before the show converting HEIC files to JPGs because fucking StreamYard is a bag of foreskin. You hear me, Diego? So that isn't it. You guys have seen that one, right? Let me go ahead and delete that. Remove from the studio. This is where I went. There will be a write-up tomorrow on the Virginia Pizza Crusade, because technically this is Virginia Pizza. Now it's West Virginia Pizza. Born and raised on a playground is where I spent most of my days. Village Pizza Inn, established in 1972, so before the Mothman statue and museum and movie, but after the Silver Bridge collapsed. 304-675-4472 if you need pizza in the area. I wanted to find a one-off, so I went into this son of a gun. Boom. Now that's me in my element. That's me in the spotlight eating all the calories. Trying to keep. Oh, Andy, thank you again for the Venmo button. Jeez. So you can't really tell by these shots, but you can buy this one. Boom. I don't think I've ever had a round pizza sliced up this way. I'm trying to think. This is the way Lido Pizza does it. I would compare this pizza to Lido Pizza, which I was a fan of before I found out they were giant fucking pussies, and pulled out of my sponsoring my show because of a joke I made. I told you that story, right? The Lido Pizza stopped sponsoring my show because I said on the air I was trying to have sex with a honey baked ham. Yeah, I stand by it. And by the way, they burned one of their most. I wasn't just a fucking member. I was also a client. I wasn't just a spokesperson. So I went there, and this is a large. It really is difficult to tell how big this is, but it was fucking enormous, and I felt like a houser because I'm sitting there alone ordering a large pizza. But that is also the cup that you saw. That is where it's from. Is this place in the bottom right here, Village Pizza, where it's the Mothman. I ate the Mothman pizza with the Mothman pizza face. It was good, but the thing about it is, first of all, nobody down there, everyone leans into the Mothman. When you talk to them about it, they're fine to talk about it. Everybody's cool. They know what brings all the boys to the yard. The fucking people working at this pizzeria were incredibly nice. The lady that was my waitress, no disrespect to her at all, but she looked like she could be in the Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia. She looked like she worked at West Virginia. And so I was in my brain stereotyping a little. That happened to me a couple of times while I was there, where I saw someone, I was like, oh, maybe I want to steer clear. Everybody was so goddamn nice. By the sec of it, by the time that I had, been there for a couple of hours, it had me second guessing every impulse that I had to do any type of stereotyping, no matter how many tattoos, how thin somebody was, how many piercings. Nice as shit. The people that I bumped into down at the water park, super fucking cool. I don't know if that's a throughout West Virginia deal. It wouldn't surprise me. Most of the times when I hang around rural people, they're nicer than people that live around others, because when you live around others, you get so disgusted with humankind that I think it ruins it for everybody else. Danny D is Village Inn Pizza. Is that what it is? I thought it was just Village Pizza. Could be wrong. Let me take a look. I'll confirm, you crazy bastard. Yeah, Village Inn Pizza. My bad. You're right. That's where it is. Village Inn Pizza. I don't think they're on Instagram. 4.5 out of 5 stars on Google. Have you been there? D-Man, Snoochie Boochies. It's fantastic. I had a beautiful time. Took a minute. They had the free refills. No Coke Zero in the fountain, so I did have to dock them half a point for that. But then I took the rest back home to the hotel room and proceeded to smash the rest of it that night as I was watching. I think I was watching 12 Monkeys again for the 480th time. I didn't want to go out and get fucked up because I wanted to leave early the next day. So I hit the old bricks fairly early after that. But the trip itself was absolutely fantastic. The driving conditions, I can't say enough about how intimidated I was about driving out to West Virginia and then driving back from West Virginia. I didn't think that would be the case. I wrote down a couple of things while I was commuting. And one of them is there is a place called Crows, West Virginia. There is a town called Crows, West Virginia. Very difficult to find anything about it on the internet. Not sure what the deal is with that. But also, I drove over this motherfucker. Now, you say, Dukes, what's the big deal? So this is a list of the 300 highest 300 highest bridges. Phil G. McDonald Bridge elevation, located several miles east of Beckley, West Virginia. That's where I was. Rising 341 feet from the foundation to the other side of the truss. Coincidentally, Glade Creek. Yeah, that's another one. I drove over this fucking bridge, and it was... I don't know why it was so terrifying. I think the reason why is you could see the bottom of it from these photographs. Like, these pictures aren't doing it justice. When you drive over this fucking bridge, this is kind of a good indicator of what you would see. You would just look out into the abyss. Like, you couldn't see the bottom. It just felt like it went on forever. And there's about, not as big as this one. There you go. New River Gorge and Phil G. I mean, they all looked like this. So, near as I can tell, when you're in West Virginia, it's all fucking mountains for a portion of it. You're just driving from one mountain to another fucking mountain. And so, a lot of the times, there's 100 of you in here now. Hit the like button. Hit the like button, you cowards. You're driving from mountain to mountain, so you're driving over these enormous bridges. The other part that freaked me the fuck out was on the way there, the physics of this make no sense to me. Clearly, it's got to be some sort of an optical illusion, or there's like a weird Mandela effect. I don't know what it would be. I never felt once like I was driving up a mountain. And if you're on Facebook, leave Facebook. Come over to YouTube. It's not scary over here. At some point, you've got to make the plunge. I will always put these videos up for you in the Super Secret Supporter chat, so don't worry about that. But come over to the Facebook page and click subscribe. If you haven't clicked the subscribe button and hit the bell, please do that. It's FREE. You don't have to be as generous and as beautiful and as handsome as Bobby Double L or any of these other crazy bastards, Jay Withico, Mandy Schonard, that are making it rain up in this mug. Jeff Nelms. These are guys with hogs where you wouldn't need to drive over that gorge on a goddamn bridge. You just got to have Jeff Nelms unfurl his hog. Take your RAV4 right over. I never felt like once when I was driving to Point Pleasant that I was driving up a mountain. But there's about a 20-minute period where you're driving straight down. To the extent that they've got big signs up everywhere saying, hey, 5% increase in angle of tractor trailers, shift down now, 45 miles per hour is the speed limit. They've got those runaway truck ramps all over the fucking place. And look, man, I've driven on Blue Ridge Parkway. My wife and I drove from Phoenix out to San Diego. There's these crazy fucking mountains in Yuma. Those are terrifying. This was more stressful. Way more stressful. Like, I did not enjoy it. Luckily, there was enough people that were uncomfortable like me, but the people that were comfortable, that clearly lived there and traversed these highways and byways every day, they didn't make it easy. They're exploding past you, tailgating you. I mean, there was some agita, man. Like, I toyed with popping half a Xanny on the way home, but then I'm like, I want my wits about me, right? Like, I want to take the edge off, but I want my wits about me. So I just drank a fifth of Crown Royal. Even right out. I kid. Yeah, but the driving component of it, man, like I was talking to I called my wife a couple of times on the way out just because I was so skeeved out that I wanted like that sense of normalcy while I was talking. I'm like, God, you're such a fucking pussy. Like, I remember watching that video of Tom Cruise jumping out of the plane to promote Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning or whatever it was called. Like, how is that guy so much more of a man than I am? I'm having difficulty driving through these fucking mountains. And then on top of that, You're just driving. I don't know. Everything's a mountain. So you're driving over gorges constantly for 20, 30 minutes at a time. It was enough where it made me second guess ever doing it again. And I know, like Rev Payton, or if you're in some sort of traveling band, man, you're going up and down the highways, like you do this shit all the time. I couldn't imagine. There were so many warnings for icy conditions. The bridge ice is over, overpass ice is over. Like in the winter, like I can't even imagine what it'd be like. You had a patch of black ice. And then here's another criticism. I've been saying a lot of nice things about West Virginia here. All right. And I think you can do both, and both can be true. They don't believe in guardrails. Like, I don't know what the budget is for guardrails. Like, maybe they're more expensive than I think. But there were so many big looping turns on the side of a precipice where there's just markers. That there is nothing but you and your prowess behind the wheel in between oblivion and the road. And I don't know what I thought that would happen, other than I remember Fez Whatley saying, I'm not afraid of a bridge collapsing. I'm afraid that I will go quite mad and drive off the edge of a bridge. I had a couple of those moments where I'm just driving and I'm like, Christ, it's right there. I can just see my truck, especially after falling off the deck, man. After that deck collapsed underneath me, and I make all the fat jokes you want, they're justified. Like, I question elevators. I question all kinds of crazy shit now. And I'm sitting there, we're driving. There is no guardrail. I'm just looking down the side of this rocky embankment. I'm like, well, no one would be able to get down there to even get me. And there's these crazy hillbilly communities. Like, you're driving through West Virginia, you look up on a hill, and there's like trailers and shit, like houses that have been there for 100 years. Like, how the fuck do you get up there? How did you settle up there? I saw a garage on the side of a cliff, like a car garage. Like you would go to get work done, like where Cooter worked. In the Dukes of Hazzard. The markers are for the snowplow. Fan of radio, I thought about you 100 times during that trip. There were so many tractor trailers. And we're just sitting on a 45-degree angle that there's a fucking sharp turn at the bottom. And even if there was some sort of a barrier, it wasn't enough to stop an 18-wheeler. You're going through. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't do your job. I really couldn't. Simply for if I had to drive from Point Pleasant to, wherever, Morgantown, I couldn't do it. Drove through the Capitol, drove through Charlestown, and the dome is impressive. Look, I think if you're going to West Virginia for like, to do natural stuff, to go hiking and canoeing and kayaking and shit, but I got to say, it really does look like the Industrial Revolution in every city that I passed by. I mean, there's just smoke and steam, and it was wild. It was really interesting. Now, again, I can't say this enough, and I want to make sure that I drive this home. The people were great. Every single person that I talked to was nice. They were friendly. They were welcoming. The man at the hotel, the man at the gas station, the ladies at the eatery, everybody in Point Pleasant. I bumped into people on the, walking their dogs with their kids. Some of them were very scary looking. Everyone was super fucking nice. Nobody asked me for money. Can you imagine a tourist attraction like that Mothman statue anywhere around where we live? Do you know how many gypsies would send their harems out there to try to shake you down for fucking money? Nobody asked me for a cent. Everything was inexpensive. The gas was inexpensive. The hotels were inexpensive. It was the duality of this trip is something I'm going to be thinking about for a long time, man, for a really long time. And I always think whenever Fan of radio, for those of you that don't know, is an 18 over the road trucker. Well, he was. Now he goes back and he gets the trucks that assholes abandon, brings them back home. But I've always thought in my Bart of Barts, I'm like, I'd like to do his job for a year just so I could see some of these places, just so I could go to some of these communities. Like, I love finding like a small town and finding the record store, finding the bookstore, finding their pizza place, finding the saloon. Like, I love doing that shit. But man, do I feel differently after driving over those fucking mountains. And I feel like, and the great thing about West Virginia, dude, it was so funny. Driving back, from Virginia into Virginia. We have that same pussy welcome to Virginia sign, very small, very understated green sign, cardinal not at the bottom. The welcome to West Virginia sign was fucking enormous, and it was stretched over a giant bridge overpass, strut overhang type deal. Fuck yeah, they were ballsy as hell. Like, if Baltimore had any kind of a personality or redeeming factors, it would be West Virginia, and if people were friendly. DC Sports Mark, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. The Bay Bridge on the way to Ocean City's low-key scary. Are you out of your fucking mind? I won't go over it. I won't drive over that bridge. You people are nuts. The people in Baltimore, the eastbound version of that portion of the Bay Bridge, where it's just that tiny little lane that goes up and out like this, fuck the fuck off. Who designed that thing? Spoiler alert, that is going to fucking fall one day. How can it not? How skinny it is. The other part where you're driving back and it's like 4 lanes, Philadelphia is worse. I think it's the Ben Franklin Bridge. There are so many scary fucking big mechanical spider from Wild Wild West, Kenneth Branagh, Will Smith bridges. Like that spider, that spider's the steampunk shit. All the bridges are built like that. It's like, let's update these, bitch. That's why the bridge that I'm the least scared of in the whole country is that one down in Tampa. I think it's called the Skyway. And they literally had to build it because the other bridge got hit by a fucking barge and everybody fell into the water and died. Like, it should be the most terrifying thing ever. But I'm like, oh, no. This bridge has been updated. They built this bridge because somebody fucked up. Yeah, the Bay Bridge could suck my dick. Did you get a hammer? Oh, F. Jesse, man. Snoochie boochies. I should have gotten a fucking hammer. No, I didn't, man. I didn't. That's a bummer, too. I'd love to have gotten a hammer. You know what I would do if I had a hammer? I'd hammer in the morning. And I'd hammer in the evening. All over this land. So, in summation, I never got a vibe, if I'm being completely honest, that there is some sort of a supernatural energy or component to all this. I'm not saying that something didn't happen there, but one of the things that I was kind of hoping, and maybe naively so, but one of the things I was kind of hoping in visiting Point Pleasant is I would feel like, or see, you know, I think I've seen a couple of supernatural things, but just Occam's razor, mind playing tricks. It's probably what it is. Everybody I know that says they've seen a UFO or UAP is the type of person that would say they saw a UFO or UAP, like the Rev Payton, God bless him. Like, you know, Pete from Shining Soul. I love these guys. But, you know, they're the types of guys that would say they saw UAP. I was kind of hoping that would be part of it, that I would feel some sort of, I guess, a lasting imprint of whatever took place there. But I can also, while that didn't happen, I can attest to it was very unique, man. Like, there was a weird energy with what I described earlier, how beautiful the day was, how abandoned it was. Wasn't dirty. It wasn't trash. Like, it wasn't a ghetto. Like, if it was in the middle of some sort of a slum, you had to snap a couple quick pics and leave. It was beautiful. And I really enjoyed being there, but it was also like just statues creepy, the mannequins creepy, like the abandoned parts creepy, and then you don't expect to be someplace that's real nice and you're alone. You just don't encounter that all that often. They've been talking about updating the Bay Bridge for 20 years. Well, how the fuck would they do it though, Parlay Popes? Like, how would they update the Bay Bridge without shutting it down? And now people can't get back and forth. What are you, just taking a barge? I guess you have to build the new bridge at the same time, parallel. Then how nervous are you, by the way, going across the Bay Bridge, seeing they're building a new one? Because clearly, yeah, man, it was, I'm really glad I did it. I'm really glad I went. It was a lot of driving. I think I drove 12 hours in about 32 hours. So I you know, that's enough for me. I like road trips, driving to Nashville. We've driven to Nashville like 3 or 4 years in a row, and it's 10 hours both way. but that is a straight fucking shot. I mean, that is just nothing but I mean, you barely see the Smoky Mountains until I think you see the Smoky Mountains for about 10 minutes when you get to Gatlinburg, and then by the time you get to Nashville, all that shit's gone too. Quick reminder, by the way, tomorrow, just because I'm on tonight, don't mean I'm not on tomorrow as well. Solid Dudes with Solid Nudes. We are having our Pacifico Pals 2, Making Toilet 2 Pacifico Pals Edition Go Home Party. Now, I do have a bit of an update. Neil from Grand Slam Barbecue clearly caught COVID. He's trying to pretend like he didn't. So Ant-Man is not going to Neil's house, but he is going to somebody's house. And you guys, if you listen to the Chaddukes show this week, can probably guess where he's going. You could probably guess where he's headed. So anything is possible. Sean's pretending to be sick too, but he's going to be there. Wesley the Barber is on his 12th vacation of the year. So I had designs on having it be a big Solid Dudes reunion. Big Pacifico Pals reunion. Probably ain't going to be that, but there'll be some drunken debauchery, and we will welcome on somebody that will be hosting on Friday night that some of you will be happy to see. I don't know if all of you will, but some of you will. Who do we give the fucking... Hey, Mark Z, did you message me? Mark, I'm going to give you one night to message me, and then if you don't, I've got to give it to one of these guys that's sending all this goddamn money. Let's see. Paul Stanley said, Azer is advertised, Mothman is as advertised, Mothman versus Bigfoot, who wins? Oh, stop it, Paul. We're not doing that ridiculous shit. Also, they're both interdimensional beings, let's be honest. I mean, you guys read about Skinwalker Ranch? Fan of radio, I know you read about Skinwalker Ranch. Read about Skinwalker Ranch, and then ask yourself, is all this shit coming from the same place? I mean, honestly. Interdimensional travel explains everything. It explains Sasquatch, explains the Yeti, explains Mothman, explains UAPs. They saw all this shit at Skinwalker Ranch. Now, it's probably the most studied place on earth, and they have bupkis to show for it, for the most part. Some cows wound up, stacked in a barn together. They couldn't have been in there. There was a camera that was all tore up. They don't know what from. Oh, Skinwalkers, by the way, too, at Skinwalker Ranch. Oh, some people are getting it. I don't know if it's called the sex house, but yeah, that'll be fun tomorrow. All right, so if that guy didn't send me the message, and I'll send it to one of you guys, this beautiful pack. And who else? I think it was Andy. Andy, did I tell? Yeah, Andy, send me your address. I'll put a cup in the mail for you tomorrow too. All right, very cool. Cool. All right, I will be back tomorrow, friendos. Do me a favor, hit a like on this, and also if you could leave a fucking nice comment. I don't want to focus on the negative. I got 2 comments on my video, the Fine I'll Watch It, which, by the way, I think is a great show. Like, I had a fun time doing it. The response live was good. I've had people messaging me say I like it. If you didn't watch the first episode of Fine I'll Watch It, it's on this channel. You can go back and watch it. And there's only 2 comments on it. They're both shitty. And there's this one chick, Jennifer, that's been obsessed with the show for 100 years, and all she does is leave shitty comments on my YouTube videos, which is fine. I understand the business I'm in. But if you're going to like the show, it'd be nice to have a couple of nice comments on the programs. Is that too much to ask? I assume it is. All right, very good. You guys into metal?
Chaddukes went down to Point Pleasant. He was looking for a Mothman to feel. He was on the grind, spending all the time, sitting heavy behind the steering wheel. When he came across this Piggly Wiggly filled with potato chips, spicy and hot. And Big Shooter jumped up on a grocery cart and said, "Folks, let me tell you why."